Bang! Needs knives. I'm Jared, my lovely wife Kara's busy, and in this video we are talking about knives that are very easy to Spydie flick. Awesome knives to Spydie flick. Now, in order not to make this just a giant Spyderco list, I did add a little bit of variation. So we have only 2 thumb stud knives because I wanted to make them all with a hole basically, or a fuller at the very least. But there are some very easy to Spydie flick knives that have thumb studs. This right here is the Spyderco Yo Jumbo. There also is the Yo Jumbo. There's actually a couple different models of the Yo Jumbo. This is the big version, the Yo Jumbo, which is incredibly easy to Spydie flick. So that's the first one. I think we have about 18 altogether. Now, to be honest, I could have pulled out probably 20 other knives that are also very easy to Spydie flick, but I had to narrow it down so this video wasn't too long. Here is, ooh, that was my fault, the KANSEPT Goblin. This is a front flipping knife, but it's also a knife with a hole that is easy to Spydie flick. Nice small compact knife, but very awesome. Next up we have the mini sheepdog. Now this is the one with the hole, so it does not have the flipper. Now the flipper version does not have the hole, so this one is super easy to Spydie flick. I can actually even Spydie flick the one without the hole, the mini sheepdog. That's how easy they are to Spydie flick. Next up, let's pull out some of the thumb stud knives, the Civivi Pintail. This knife, the action is probably, it's one of the best actions that have come out of Civivi, in my opinion. This thing, the action that the Civivi Pintail has is so good, and it's so easy to Spydie flick that it feels like it was made to do it. The Civivi Pintail. Now, the other knife, and I'm sorry to pull all Civivis, I could have pulled a lot of different knives with thumb studs, but the the Sencut Actium is another one. The action on this thing is just insane. It's even superior to a lot of higher end knives. The action is fantastic. It's super easy to Spydie flick. The Sencut Actium, really badass. Now, let's pull out the Giant Mouse Ace Biblio. This thing, at first it was not easy to Spydie flick. The detent was very strong, but these do break in eventually and become incredibly easy to thumb flick or Spydie flick. I did the flipper tab chop, and this is actually going to have a new home here very soon, but yeah, got to get one more video out of it. Now let's throw out some Spydercos. We got the Para 3 and the Para 2, both Spydercos. Now they have also the lightweight version, which this is kind of, I wasn't going to pull this out, but the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight. Either way, these are some of the easiest knives to Spydie flick because they were designed for the Spydie flick. The way the hump is, it makes it to where you just instantly have great purchase. The hole is the perfect size for it, and the detent is made for it. So since you have all, that combination, it just makes it so perfect for the Spydie flick. Very easy. A couple more Spydercos. We got the Spyderco Shaman, another one incredibly easy to Spydie flick because it's a Spyderco, so they're made to do that. So if you're not good at Spydie flicking, try a Spyderco, because most likely you will be very good at it with a Spyderco. That was the Spyderco Shaman. Here's the Spyderco Manix 2. One of my favorite Spydie flickers. I mean, it's just so easy, and the hole is placed just in the perfect place, perfect size hole. I think all the Spydercos are basically the same size hole, at least most of them, not all of them, but most of them. But yeah, it's just so easy. Just wrap your thumb right there, stop it from falling, middle finger, bang. Very easy. The Spyderco Manix 2. Now, since we're on the Spyderco kick, or you know what, I'll save a Spyderco probably for the last one, but let's keep it going. Now we have, these are in no particular order. This is a top flipping knife. This is the Olamic Whippersnapper, and the reverse flicking action is so easy on this thing. The detent is so well tuned. Even the top flipping action, I mean, the action on this thing is amazing, and yeah, incredibly fidgety and satisfying. It's just so easy. Now, another one that's not quite, it wasn't as easy when I first pulled it out, but once I oiled it up, the Spyderco Chubby, this thing does have incredible action. Oop, that was my fault. And I can tell that it's just getting better and better and better. I can even do it with the left hand, so that says a lot. But yeah, the Spyderco Chubby, deep hollow grind. Now, this is a rare knife, and they are hard to find and hard to get, but very, very awesome. It's actually very satisfying to slow roll this knife, like a lot of Spydercos. Next up, the Kooby Vagrant. Kooby Vagrant is another one. This is a medium-sized, a smaller knife. It's only a 3-inch blade, but for a 3-inch blade, you get a full grip. And the longer I have this and the more I flick it and play with it, the more higher end this knife feels. And it's really only like an $80, $90 knife. It has AUS 10 steel that takes a screaming sharp edge. But yeah, this thing's build quality is really, really nice. Next up, we'll pull out another Spyderco. We got the Spyderco Brower. This one's a little bit easier to thumb flick, but you can easily still reverse flick it. And I find that it's actually pretty satisfying, and you get a full grip. Nice, small, compact knife, titanium frame lock. And yeah, love the Brower. Love, love, love the Brower. We actually have, I think 19 altogether. But anyways, Spyderco. The Twosun TS195, the silverback. This is an integral. It is a Twosun knife. And I had to put this in here because it is so incredibly easy to reverse flick this knife from the fuller. I don't know if I felt a fuller that's as easy as this besides the next knife that's coming up, because this thing is so incredibly easy to reverse flick, to thumb flick, to top flip, or regular flip. It has so much action, but the reverse flick is probably the most satisfying from this knife. Now, the next one is another fuller. This is the Medford Slim Midi on bearings, and this is possibly the easiest fuller knife, you know, a knife with a fuller, this groove right here, to Spydie flick that I've ever felt in my life. It's so incredibly easy. Thumb flick or reverse flick. It's so fidgety. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And the sound is amazing. It's so easy. I can easily do it left hand. My thumb's a little handicapped, but still very easy. Love it. All right, next up we got another Civivi, the Civivi Picaro. Now this does have a hole, but it also has a thumb stud. This knife, after it breaks in, because it's on phosphor bronze, it gets incredibly smooth. At least mine did. I did polish my washers on mine, but very, very fidgety. Very thin blade stock too. This thing is a slicing beast. Love it. Big knife, long knife, 4-inch blade. Okay, so we're dwindling it down. All right, next up, let's do a couple Benchmades really quick. We got the Benchmade Mini Grip and the Benchmade Big Grip. Benchmade Griptillian with the sheep's foot, very easy, very fidgety. Love this knife a lot. Even the mini grip, super easy to fidget. Now, it doesn't have the detent strength like a Spyderco. We'll bring forward the Para 2, PM2. This has a little bit more resistance to have a little bit more of a snappier action. This, because it's an access lock, it's not as snappy. But once you get it down, I mean, it's very easy to reverse flick or thumb flick. Okay, what do we got? We got just a couple more. Let's just pull them out. We'll pull them out together. the Spyderco Slish Buoy, and the Spyderco Techno 2. Now these were in no particular order, but this knife, I love actually reverse flicking it left-handed. Same thing with this knife, but very easy to deploy right or left-handed. And even though the hole is kind of tucked back there behind the lock, it's still incredibly easy to Spydie flick, in my opinion. Same thing with the the Techno 2. So we have the Spyderco Techno 2 and the Spyderco Slish Buoy. Thank you guys for watching. I love all of you. Peace. Well, at least most of you. Peace.